Hello, dog lovers. My name is Saro. I'm a dog trainer, also coach dog owners. Welcome to another live session of Saro Dog Training, weekly live session. And hopefully, you're doing well in this crazy time in this world. In this video, I am going to talk about the current situation and latest information about dogs and the coronavirus and everything that's going around it. Also share some activities and games that you can play at home with your dog during this social distancing movement that is going on. And if you're quarantined at home, what to do, what not to do with your dog. I'm going to share some information and games and videos that you can watch and play with your dog that I have them on my channel. Also going to answer your dog related questions. If you feel free to ask your dog related questions in the chat area and I will answer them right away. Plus, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon as well. That is very important to hit the bell icon because if I go live or if I post a new video, YouTube algorithm is going to notify you that I have a new video or if I'm live, it will notify you. Otherwise, you won't get notifications. It's very important to hit that bell icon, click on that bell icon as well. So I've been told from YouTube that I better start mentioning this to new viewers and all the viewers from the channel to remember to click on the bell icon. So if you're new here, again, my name is Saro. I'm a dog trainer, also coach dog owners. What that means, and I help dog owners to become educated dog lovers, not just a dog lover, but educated dog lover. And I do that by offering and educating dog owners to learn a training method which is using play and praise reward system to train their dogs rather than food or treats or using aversive tools or domination, force, or being alpha. So that's the goal and mission of the channel, and I will help you to have a healthy and happy, well-behaved dog using play and praise reward system. So before we get started, tell me if you're new here. Let me know. Let me know where um, where you are at the moment and where you're watching from, and let me know also your question if you have any question. And it is crazy. It is very stressful time. I have a business that I'm running, doggy daycare and also doggy training. It's very strange. In this part of the world, Vancouver, BC, Canada, I'm still operating our business, uh, our doggy daycare, just because I'm the owner, I'm the operator. Me and my wife, we run this place. So we are going to stay open until the last minute, until the government shut us down and tells us that we can't be open anymore and it's not safe. And until then, we are open. You never know. Tomorrow it may change. Come Monday, we may have different outcome. But so far, we are open and we are going with our everyday activities and everything that we do. But one thing that I've noticed is that the number of dogs have been reduced. The reason for that is most of our clients are working at home. They're staying at home. Um, Most of our clients also they don't feel safe to come out to bring their dogs. So this is very strange and scary in a way. I've never experienced anything like this in my lifetime. Let me know if how are you affected by the current situation in the world regarding COVID-19 or coronavirus. It's it's something that it causes a lot of stress in us. So far, I have been able to manage my stress by thinking a little bit differently than I think others. I think when it comes to situations like this, in general, when it comes to stressful situation, um, I try to get some tips from dogs. Dogs, they don't care about what really happens um, in future or past. They're just worried about now at this moment. And I'm going with the moment. Every moment, I feel like I have to address this moment. What is it bothering me at the moment? And how do dogs really deal with stress and cope with anxiety? What they do is they listen to their own body and surrounding, and they feel differently. Obviously, they look at the around and their people and the energy that is surrounding them, and based on that they react. So one thing I know for sure is that if you or us humans we feel stressed and anxious, our dogs are going to feel that too. They're going to feel a lot more stressed than you are. Dogs are more sensitive than humans in general, and I think by listening to them and observing them and understanding what they feel and how they feel, we can kind of feel that gauge and address ourselves. If you feel that your dog is feeling stress, remember that probably they're picking up on that stress from you, and you are probably stressed, and your dog is telling you that there's something wrong. So in situations like this, I want you to be aware of this and be relaxed, be happy, be joyful, even though it's a negative thing happening around the world. But we need to be positive. We have to take this as positive and learn something from it, and maybe practice being focused, being clear, being more in control. We need our dogs need us to be in control. So you have to be in charge and make sure that you're doing the right thing, so your dog is going to feel better as well. And the latest news that I have received, and based on my research, still we don't have any sign of coronavirus affecting dogs. There was a dog in Asia that passed away who was related to the coronavirus. The owner of the dog uh, who had who had been affected by coronavirus passed away, I believe, and the dog as well. But the dog didn't pass away because of the virus. It was a 16 or 17-year-old dog, and because of all this stress happening around it, being quarantined, being separated from the parents, all this stuff going around is going to stress a senior dog. And unfortunately, that's one of the ways that dogs pass away from stress. And being a senior dog, 16, 17-year-old passed away. It didn't die because of the virus. So dogs are not being affected so far, as far as we know. So don't worry about that part. The only thing that I suggest you to do is wash your hands after you touch your dog or any dog, because the owner of certain dogs or owner of dogs, they may be carrying the virus, and they may be transmitting it to not transmitting, but um, coughing on their dog, and that's how they get on their fur. The virus could be transmitting to their fur, and you go and touch the dog, and then you touch your face or your mouth. That's how you're going to get it. So don't, if you're going to touch the dogs, make sure that you're washing your hands afterwards. And if you, even your own dog, you never know, your dog may be involved with certain activity that had a person who has the virus. So you never know. So that's the only thing that I would say to worry about when it comes to you and your dog. just wash your hands after touching your dog, and plus if you're touching everything else. Um, so that's the situation with the virus and this crazy thing that is going around. Yeah, please let me know how you're being affected by current situation. And in a moment, I will start answering your questions. And let me answer one or two questions first, and then I'll start sharing with you some information about how to play games inside of the house with your dog, and how to deal with this social distancing. Um, Idiot, I think it's called Idiot. I'm just going to go with it. Is asking, my dog plays with my hands very often, but we don't need to go outside for that. Um, that anyways. Uh, I tried following your tips to train my dog with play and fun. It didn't work. I really tried to make it fun for him, but it didn't really help. The What would you say that it's happening? What is it that your dog is not responding to the play and praise? What is it? What kind of results are you getting? If you're saying it doesn't work, one of the things that I find when it comes to people having this issue, dog owners having this issue with their dogs, that they're saying, "Well, my dog is not responding to play or praise or food or anything like that." The main core reason that that happens is because of the dog's mental state of mind. What that means is, if a dog is social, if it's happy, if it's healthy, well taken care of, they will have different results than those who don't. You have to make sure that you are providing your dogs daily five essential needs. And this is the formula. The formula is to provide exercise, training, socialization, care, and affection for your dog on daily basis. And in this order: exercise, training, socialization, and then care and then affection. I'll give you an example what I mean by that, so you have a better understanding why this formula works and why this formula. Because most dog owners, they only focus on one or two or three of these things. Maybe a lot of affection, a lot of good care of the dog, they provide a lot of good care, and maybe exercise the dog, here and there. But the problem is that if you just focus on one or two or three things, then it becomes unbalanced, and your dog doesn't have a good, uh, solid skill to live with humans. Therefore, you have to focus on providing proper amount of exercise and training and socialization, and then focus on providing care and affection. Affection is the last thing that your dog needs. It's not the first thing. Most dog owners, they think that affection is the first thing that they need to provide for the dog, and good care for the dog. That's about it. No, dogs need more than that. You have to focus on providing proper amount of exercise. So you get up in the morning, instead of sharing affection with your dog, "Good morning, sweetie pie. Hi, hi." Instead of doing that for 5 minutes, you have to take your dog out for exercise, for a walk. Don't focus on affection. Your dog doesn't care that you woke up and they woke up. They want to go out, do their business, get out, smell the roses, do their daily exercise activity, get some training. Training, you think it's not only for humans? No, dogs want to learn a way to communicate with humans, and that is training. That is via training. You have to provide that training for your dog. And socialization. Dogs are social animals. They need to be, in this era now that we are thinking about social distancing, dogs hate that. You have to provide social activity for your dog. Dogs are social animals. They need to be socializing with dogs, humans, kids, objects, things like that. You have to focus on providing socialization. So after you've done your exercise, morning walk, and training, you have done some training with your dog and provided socialization, then you provide care, which is, let's say, breakfast. Then you provide breakfast. After you've done this, then you share affection. Then you say, sweetie pie, cutie pie, hi, baby, whatever you call your doggy, right? That comes at the end. After you've done everything that you need to do, then comes that, right? So if you do that, then you're going to see you're going to get better results from your dog, because your dog is going to say, my human is providing me everything, so I'm going to return all these favors to my owner by giving my owner what it wants. If you provide um, fun and play and praise, your dog is going to give you play and praise. But if you don't provide those five essential needs, daily five essential needs every day, your dog is going to have behavioral issues, mental issue, and also emotional issue to connect with you. Therefore, you're not going to get results. So try that. Focus on that. We have question from Offer Aharon. Thank you for being here once again and for your question. Hi again, Saro. Thanks for hosting again. The live shows are very helpful. Glad to hear that. Thank you. Maybe not a training related question, but can you recommend chewing treats, not toys, for puppy beagles? Yes. Chewing treats, I will go with veal chews, buffalo chews, what are, hmm? Beef chews. These are, you know, these are basically dried um, animal parts, which are good. You just Google, or when you go to a shop, ask them what? Bully stick. They're called bully sticks. Bully sticks or veal chews or beef chews. If you ask for those, you'll get the good stuff. These are good product because they're natural, long lasting. You give to a puppy, it will entertain it for at least 15-20 minutes, sometimes an hour. Depend on how thick you choose for them. So yeah, chews are good. uh, Rod, I'm just going to call you Rod. I have a 2-month-old beagle, but he doesn't listen. He minds his own business. What should I do? Good question. A 2-month-old, you shouldn't have any expectations. If you have a 2-month-old beagle, I'm guessing you got it 2 months ago, a month ago, maybe. So within a month, you shouldn't have any expectation to reconnect or connect with your beagle puppy. Your expectations should be very low. What that means is, at the moment, what you're trying to do is building a bridge between you and your dog. The only way that you can build that bridge and work on it is by interacting with your puppy. Everything that you do now, everything that you invest now, and time and effort that you put now is going to pay off in a few months. So at the moment, don't have any expectation. Your dog, your puppy shouldn't even be listening, paying attention. If your puppy was listening to you, I would be surprised, because no puppy is going to listen to a stranger on the first day, on the first month or second month. Um, you need to earn it. It takes time for a puppy to get you figure out, to also understand that, okay, this human is the one. I'm going to connect with this human. It takes at least 30 moons and suns for a dog to say, okay, this may be my place that I'm going to stay. But then, to connect with the humans, remember, your puppy just got separated from its natural um, parents, from its biological parents. The the siblings and mom and dad, they were there until a month ago. So now all of a sudden there's no sign of them, and there's these humans in the house, right? Um, from your biopic, I can tell you have kids as well. So there are lots of people now, new people for this puppy to connect. And it will take time for the puppy, especially, to connect with each one of you. So don't have any expectations. Work on training your puppy. I have lots of videos on my channel. Currently, I am broadcasting my journey on raising and training and working my own puppy that I have just adopted, Annie the mixed beagle. You're welcome to watch those. Sunday, I'm going to be posting the next video that you can watch that. We have Jamie. Welcome back, Jamie. Thank you for being here once again. Should my 5-pound Chihuahua only be allowed to play with dogs her same size, or is it safe for larger dogs to be around her? And if so, up to what weight she's an adult and won't be getting any larger? So, good question. In dog world, size doesn't matter. A small dog could be interacting with a huge dog naturally, normally, without any problems. All you have to pay attention that the dogs that you're exposing your dogs to are safe and good dogs and well social with all kinds of dogs, small, big dogs. For instance, in our daycare, I know all the dogs. I know they're all good and well behaved, and they're good with puppies and big dogs and small dogs. So whenever we get a new dog, I have no worries to let this new dog to go to this group of dogs, because I know them. I know how well behaved they are and how they're going to interact with this new puppy or small dog. And most of the time, small dogs have big attitudes, so they can also actually uh, tolerate big dogs, and they can just deal with them easily. Just watch your dog's body language. See if your dog is feeling comfortable and secure and safe and happy. If you see that is feeling a little bit nervous around certain dogs, whether it's same size or bigger, then you manage that way. Otherwise, you don't have to worry about the size. Very good question. Idiot he doesn't want to even sit without treats. Uh, yeah, I mean, that shows that if a dog is not, now this may come a little bit harsh and mean, and maybe um, maybe a little bit out of touch, but if a dog chooses not to listen to its human who is feeding it, taking care of it, doing all kinds of things for it, being a chauffeur, being a chef, being this and being that, if it doesn't listen to that human, that means that dog is not connected to the human 100%. And probably you're spoiling this dog, spoiling with affection and love. Or you're not spoiling it, but you're offering this dog maybe energy of stress and anxiety. Probably you're angry all the time. You're either angry all the time, or you're always soft and loving and sharing affection with your dog. Could be any of these. If you are in any of these, aggressive or soft, you're extreme. And dogs don't like extreme. They want someone to be in the middle, be balanced. We call that balance. If you are, oh my goodness, come over here, sit, that is too extreme. And if you're, hey, come over here, sit, that is extreme as well. So dogs don't like those energies, because they're saying, oh, you're overdoing it. You're either too soft or you're either too aggressive. I don't like any of those. You have to be yourself, first of all. Find the energy that you're comfortable with to present yourself to your real self. Don't be pretending to be aggressive and angry and mean and in charge, or don't be so soft and gentle that you want to buy your dog's love. Most people, they are soft because they want to kind of buy the dog's love. They want to, oh, if I'm gentle, my dog is going to connect with me and feel comfortable and soft and gentle and all that. No, dog is going to say, you're too soft, you're weird, I don't feel comfortable with you. So address those, adjust yourself, you'll see a big difference. Next question is, I'll call you Cat. I'm not concerned about the virus. What I'm concerned about is feeding my dog, since people are buying up all the food and he eats a raw diet. I know it's crazy. Um, Good point. The only time that, I used to, people used to ask me, when do I feed my dog kibble? Why do I? And I wanted to answer them. The only time that you feed your dog kibble is only when it's emergency. And this could be the time, actually. If you're running out of food and there's nothing else but kibble to feed your dog, feel free to do it. Hopefully this is a short period that is going to pass by and it's not going to be a long term. But if you're running out of food and there's no way that you can get fresh raw diet to your dog, for emergency sake, feed kibble. But try to buy good kibble if you could, good quality kibble. Maybe even dehydrated dog food. Those could be another option. But yes, it is crazy. Uh, Go Gogoy is saying, thanks for all your videos. It helps me a lot being first time pet owner. That is great. I have a 6-month-old beagle and is very active, but I'm not able to teach him proper potty habits. How do I teach him? Um, for potty, uh, I'm gonna see if I can get that video. For potty training, what I suggest you to do is, this is something that um, I talk about it a lot in my live videos as well, but I will share. I'm going to try to find the video and share it with you. But basically, you could manage it. You could control and manage the potty situation. What you can do is invest a weekend or 2 or 3 days just to focus on teaching your dog, your beagle, potty break. So what that means is every 2 hours you take your dog, your beagle out. Whether the puppy has to go or not, you take it out and you let it do its business. If it does its business, you praise it. You say, "Good boy" or "Good girl." You just celebrate, right? If it doesn't, you bring it back home. I'm having a hard time finding the video. I'll see if I can find it. Um, 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 if your puppy doesn't do the business, you bring it back. You keep it on the leash so you can control it and manage it. Okay, got it. For potty training. So I'm going to share the link in the chat area. I named it for potty training. If your puppy doesn't do anything, you keep it on the leash so you can keep an eye on it, or keep it in a crate or in a expand area, an area that is controlled and you can have an eye on it. So if it does something, if you see that it's just about to do something, you take it out. If you see that he's not thinking of doing anything, and you stay there until it gives you the signal that I have to go. Usually, when they have to go, they start moving in circles. Um, if you see that movement, if you see that behavior, it's a signal that you have to take it out. So they want to do it, so they just take it out. Take it out. If it does it, praise it, celebrate, open a champagne bottle. Just kidding, but do something that it tells and signals to your puppy that, oh, every time I do my business outside, my human interacts with me like crazy. And then that's going to give the signal to the puppy that next time I want to get interaction from my human, so I'm going to do the business outside. Because every time I do it outside, my human interacts with me like crazy, so I'm going to do that. So, and you're from India, great. So, by the way, how is it? How is the situation in your part of your country and in India, from India? One more question. Does my dog is my dog safe from coronavirus? Yes, your dog is safe at the moment based on all the things that we have figured out and know. Coronavirus does not affect dogs. It only affects humans who are affected by it, and they can transmit it through the dog, but not internally, but externally. So if your dog is involved with people who have the virus and they cough, or yeah, basically if they cough on your dog or touch your dog, and you go and touch your dog, pet your dog, and then put it in your hand and or your face, put it in your mouth or your face, then you're gonna get it. So don't let your dog get involved with strange people and all that, and then don't let them pet your dog. And also, if you happen to pet your dog yourself, wash your hands every time. Um, could you also tell me a diet plan to my beagle matching the Indian condition? Right now, I'm feeding him dog food 4 times a day. Um, I'm not sure the condition in India, but what I would suggest to do for you to do, if possible, if you can get any kind of meat. The simplest form of the diet that I would suggest, if nothing is working out right, I think this is possible to implement in every situation and everywhere. Just get any meat. You have a choice of either cooking the meat, or you have a choice of just feeding it raw. I suggest to feed raw, but if you don't feel comfortable raw, feed uh, cooked. Um, in general, dogs need meat, um, plus some vegetables, some green leafy vegetables. If we could buy some green leafy vegetables and chop them up or juice them or put in the blender and mix them up, and then mix it with the meat, that would be ideal diet. Now, again, you could either cook that meat or you could give it raw. If you're comfortable feeding and handling the meat raw to your dog, go ahead and do that. If you don't, then cook the meat a little bit. You don't have to overcook it, just a touch cook, and then um, mix the vegetables raw, and then feed your dog. That would be the ideal diet for your beagle. I think it's doable there. You can feed, you can get meat, right, and vegetables. Now, green leafy vegetables are better, so I would focus on that. Let me know if that is doable in your part of your area. We are under serious tension. Schools and colleges are shut down until 31st March. A mass curfew was called on Sunday. Wow. This is getting really serious. Everywhere is happening, such as this. In here, we haven't got the curfew yet, but I think it's coming. This is crazy that it's going around all over the world. And thank you for reporting that. Um, that brings me to our next topic that I wanted to also talk about, which was the activities that you can do with your dog during this coronavirus going on and social distancing. What was that?
Skip the question.
Did I?
Yeah, the VRF.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll come back to that topic in a moment. The DRF 3156, that's easy to read. I have a 4-month-old Irish Doodle. Irish Doodle. Hmm, interesting. When walking her on the short leash, she constantly wants to eat leaves, picks up rocks or twigs. How do you stop that behavior? One of the things that I usually suggest for a 4-month-old puppy owner is, I know it's going to sound weird, but don't put your puppy in that situation. Don't take your puppy in a place that has lots of things going on. You're First of all, because what happens is if you put it in that situation, your puppy is going to react anyways. Puppies, because of their age, they and being a dog, they experiment and figure things out by putting things in their mouth. One of the reasons dogs are chewing and nipping hands and chew things is because they are trying to experiment things. They're trying to figure out if it's, first of all, what that is, how it tastes like, is it edible? Dogs, that's what they do. They eat first and then figure out if it was edible or not. Uh, so that's one of the reasons that they put stuff in their mouth. So if you place your puppy in an environment that there's lots of things, leaves, rocks, and everything that there is, they will put things in their mouth. So first of all, try to avoid situations like that. Work on improving the walk. You can watch a lot of videos I have on my channel that I teach and show how to teach the dog puppy to walk properly on a leash and improve that. And then you take your puppy for a walk. Most of the training of the walk training should be done in your living room or in the backyard, or if you're living in a building, in a hallway. You don't have to go outside. At the moment, if you have to take your puppy outside, take it outside. But if it's twig, if it's leaves, these are safe. Let the puppy figure things out. Let it to figure out that, okay, sticks and leaves are okay. They don't taste anything different or special. But if it's rocks and stuff, you have to manually remove it from their mouth. Um, if you see that they're putting something in their mouth that is dangerous, obviously you have to manage it and control it. But if it's on harm products and stuff that is not going to harm your dog puppy, that's fine. Let them practice it, but mainly work on improving the walk so you can have an easier walk with your puppy. Practice at home, practice in the hallway, in the backyard to improve the walk. One of the techniques that I usually teach in my videos is teach the puppy to learn to respond to your verbal cue of no, or stop it, or don't do it, whatever you want to cue it. Verbally, you have to teach the puppy that this means stop that behavior. And the only way that you can teach that is by playing a game um, that the puppy learns. Okay, if I do this, I have to my owner says this, I have to stop that behavior. So most of the time, that's one of the first things that I teach my puppy. I start bombarding my puppy with lots of no. Every time my puppy goes towards something, I say no. So my puppy hears, okay, if I went for the rock and my owner said no. Next time I go for another thing, my owner says no. But when I go for this, my owner doesn't say no. So your puppy has to figure out what is doable, what is not doable. And after your puppy hears the word no, let's say 100 times, then it's going to figure it out and going to respond to that correction. But those things have to be done at home, in the backyard, in the hallway, for the practicing purposes. And then when you take it in the real walk outside, you're hoping that you're going to see some results out of it. Hopefully that helps. Thank you so much, dear. It is great help. It would certainly help looking forward. Yes, you're welcome. I'm glad that that system is going to work for you. And yes, let me know how it goes. Yeah, just get some meat and some vegetables. Kat is saying, I have a 3-year-old Dobby, and he has similar problem with garbage. He becomes obsessive over it if he can't have it. I can take stuff from him indoors, but outside he's in a different mindset. So the reason that happens is this is a good example. That means your Dobby is not ready. First of all, the outside world is over dominating the training, um, overriding the training. So what that means is your Dobby is still not 100% um, sure what that means. So that cue means it knows in the house setting, but outside it's a different situation. So one of the solutions that I have, this is another game that you can play. You at home, you you play, you play with these toys or whatever. But I'm sure there's one toy that your Dobby can't live without it, and it's really, really, really important, and it's really good. There's a toy that every dog they really love. They attach themselves to a toy. So don't give that toy too often to your Dobby. Hide it out of your Dobby's hand. Once in a while, bring it out in the living room or in your house. Bring it out, put it on the floor, and see if you can control your Dobby indoors not to touch that toy. If you could, then you know your Dobby is ready to go outside and you can handle it. But if you can, that's a barometer, that's a gauge for you to understand, okay, my Dobby is not gonna respond to my cues or whatever outside. So we're not ready yet. So that's very interesting and also very easy game that you can play at home using a toy by figuring out if you can control it or not. If you can't control your Dobby at home, then you won't be able to control outside. If you can control your Dobby at home using a toy that it really loves, then you will have issues outside. Play that game, and if you could, let me know the results, how it goes. AW, hi, Mr. Saro. Thank you for calling me Mr. Can dogs catch the COVID-19 virus from humans or vice versa? No, they can't. They can. One more time, I'll repeat the answer. They can catch it from the dogs are not gonna catch coronavirus. They can only transmit it. What that means is if somebody has the virus, coughs or touches your dog, then they are going to be transporting the virus to you if you go and touch your pet and touch your dog, then you touch your mouth and face. That's how you're gonna get it from a dog. Internally doesn't affect them. It does affect them externally. They could be moving um, petri dish. They could be moving, they could be transmitting the bacteria here. They're just like your doorknob, just like your keys. Everything that you touch nowadays, it may be covered by bacteria, and you have to wash your hands. So every time you pet your dog or interact with your dog, or even toys or games that you play, wash your hands or wear gloves. Uh, Megan, how to train two 4-month-old beagles. They cry for each other when separated, which makes it harder to have one focus on me when the other is crying. I assume they should be separated for training. It is doable to train two dogs at the same time, but it's a little bit more advanced. What I mean by that is I could use the second dog as a distraction for the first dog to practice, but my each beagle has to have the basics. So to train your beagles, the basics, you have to have them separate. Um, the way you could teach them to be okay to be separated from each other is to teach them the wait command. So wait command is different than stay command. Uh, the reason for that is because wait command tells your dog that you are you are not on site, or your other individual is not on site. Stay, you are visible to your dog. Wait, you're not visible to your dog. So there's a difference between wait and stay command. Many people, they keep mixing these two, or um, they use it at the wrong time and wrong place. So I would use stay while you are visible to your dog. Your dog can see you, and you say stay, and then 2, 3, 5 minutes you stay there with your dog. But when you say wait, you're not visible to your dog. You're telling your dog to wait, and then you're leaving the room, and then you come back in 10 seconds and reward your dog, and then you go back out of the door of the room, come back in 20 seconds, and you reward your dog if it stays and waits for you. That's how you transition from stay to wait. It's a little bit technical. I have a video series, two-part series video in my channel. Um, it's called Wait Command. You could search my channel. Let me see if I can find it, actually. So you watch these two videos. One is teaching the dog how to stay. So I'm gonna put the link in the chat area. Wait command. As I said, it's a two-part video. So watch both of them. So I posted in the chat line. It's called wait command. You teach the wait command to each one of them, and then you can have them separate. Then you can train them. Um, but if you see that they're getting good at it, you're teaching them basic obedience and they're learning and everything is going well, then you can use each one of them as a distraction to the other one. So what I usually would do, like if it was me, I have Annie and I have Harvey. My Harvey is 10 years old now. Annie is 5 months old. So I'm still working on the basics on Annie, 5 months old. And if I feel that, okay, she's ready to go to the next level, I'll bring Harvey in the picture in the training area, and I'll use Harvey to maybe run around or maybe play with a toy. And Annie has to sit and stay while Harvey is playing. That's a big challenge. That's a big distraction. If these are good activities and exercises, if you want to bulletproof your dog's commands outdoors, these are how you're able to um, transition from indoors to outdoors training, right? So you don't just all of a sudden go and ask the dog to stay or wait outside. You practice them indoors, using everything that you have, food, other dog's toy, anything that your dog values can become distraction to practice. So that would be my suggestion. Um, did I miss anybody so far, Yoko?
Elizabeth Caruso.
Oh, Elizabeth. Are 3.5 walks too much for a 9-month-old mini poodle? 3.5. Is that a 3.5 hour? That's if that is what you mean, 3.5 hour walks. Yes, is way too much. Is like extreme. A 9-month-old puppy should get 2 half-an-hour walks per day. And I guess you have poodles. Even you have poodles. It doesn't matter what breed it is. 2 half-an-hour, or is that 3 half-an-hour walks? I'm not sure exactly what it is, but if you're giving 3 half-an-hour walks, it's not bad. It's not too much. It's not overdone, but preferably 2 half-an-hours. But if it's 3.5 hours, that's too much.
She says, no, I meant 3 half hours.
3 half hour. Okay. Um, that's good. 3 half hour. It's good. It's okay. 9 months old mini poodle, you know, they're still developing physically and emotionally and behaviorally and mentally. The problem that I have when you overexercise a puppy is that you're teaching them that this is the you're setting up the line, the what do you call it? You're setting up the norm. Yes, that's what I'm. You're setting up the norm. You're saying if at this age we're going to start walking an hour and a half every day, and what happens when they are a year old or a year and a half or two? They're going to expect 2 hours. They're going to expect more. Then you have to set up the norm higher. And then when they get older, they get 2, 3, 4 years old. You have to walk them 4 hours, 5 hours, and 6 hours, and on and on, and never ends. So set your bars low at the moment, and then as they grow up and develop, add more and more. The problem that I see most of the time that happens is a senior dog, let's say 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old dog. If it's over-exercised a lot in the young age, they expect the same amount of exercise when they're older, when they're fragile and they can't do it. So physically they want to go for exercise. Mentally they want to go for exercise, but physically they can't. So if you set the bar high now, in future your dog is going to have a hard time to deal with calmness, deal with stillness, deal with uh, social distancing. You know what I mean? It's going to have a hard time staying home. So I would suggest to, at the moment, just focus on 2 half-an-hours, and later on see how it goes. If your mini poodle is one of those dogs that needs an extra half-an-hour, then you add it. If you see that is okay with 2 half-an-hour, just stay with that. Over exercising and under exercising can cause dogs to develop behavioral issues. So I would highly suggest to set it up properly. Don't overdo it, don't underdo it. And Kat is saying the only toy he really likes is his Kong that I put Greek yogurt in it. I'll try that. Yes, you could actually do the same thing. Put Greek yogurt in it and use it for the training, for that test to see if you can manage and control your Dobby not to go for that Kong. You could do this way. You could put just the Kong and see if you can manage it. And if you see that you can manage it, you learned and your Dobby learned how to do it, kick it up a notch and put yogurt in it, and then try it again too. Make the challenge, make the game even more challenging. And that's how you can become more assured that you can handle the dog outdoors, outside too. And Elizabeth responded, I meant 3.5 hours. Yes, so we talked about that. All right. So let me share with you some games that you can play with your dog during this time that it's a social distancing and you're forced to stay home with your dog. By the way, most dogs are so happy that their owners are staying home. It's like Christmas for them. This is great. Dogs are celebrating all over the world that the dog owners are staying home. Um, if you're one of those lucky ones who gets to work at home and stay with your dog, in a way, put it positive. Make it positive. A lucky one who stays home with their dog. Uh, you can play games with your dog. There are certain games that you can play with your dog that not only kills time, but also it entertains your dog. It makes your dog to have fun. And if you play these games that I'm going to share with you for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour every day, they're going to leave you alone the entire day, right? Where you can focus on your work. So I want you to, realize that um, you can play these games and not only benefit. Thank you, Elizabeth. Not only That's great. Thank you very much for the feedback. Um, you can not only help your dog to exercise, but I often suggest dog owners to focus on exercising their dog physically and mentally. So if you do that way, both physically and mentally, not only your dog is going to be physically tired and stimulated, but mentally they're going to be exhausted too. So that's how you get a dog to uh, leave you alone for a few hours when you stimulate them mentally. Remember when you used to go to school? You go to school, you go and learn. After an hour and a half of a class, even after each class, you are exhausted. Imagine being in the school all day. Come home, you're exhausted, right? Because you're learning. And when you're learning mentally, you get more exhausted. So if you do these games the way that I show them in the videos, um, you're going to be not only having your dog to be tired and exhausted and physically and mentally stimulated, but also you're going to improve their behavior. So one of the games that I like to play with my dog, and I suggest dog owners to play, is game of table. This game comes from is in the chat area, the link for that video. This game comes from agility, the sport of agility. But the way I play this game is a little bit different. So if you have a table or if you have a couch or anything that your dog can get on it, use it and play this game of table with your dog. This involves sit, stay, and also recall, which is great to practice with your dog. The other game is, for you, speaking of agility, you can you can play um, the basic agility game with your dog. This is going to give you an idea of what agility is. And the basics of it is basically controlling and managing your dog during an agility game. And we start with the jump. The jump is the um, main obstacle of the game, which is the jump. And again, the basic agility and jumps, the link is in the chat area. The next one is ideal. Next game is ideal for those who have a dog who has leash pulling issue. They pull on the leash. Um, this one is leash training game. It's a course that you create at home using whatever you have, simple obstacle course that you can create, and ask your dog to walk through it. This is another fun game that you can play with your dog. Not only, again, it stimulates them physically and mentally, it improves the walk. So that is a great game. If you have a dog who's hard to walk, pulls on leash, this will teach you how to manage and control it, and walk nicely with your dog. The next game is touch it trick. You want to teach your dog to touch something, or your hand, or whatever it is. I'm currently working on my own puppy touching and ringing a bell. Um, but this is how you teach and train your puppy or dog to touch something. Again, these activities are not only mentally, physically beneficial, but also it teaches your puppy to learn a trick as well and improve other behaviors. Now, the last game that I suggest you to play with your dog is basic obedience game. If you're training your dog basic obedience, sit, stay calm, and all that, you can turn it into a game. And I show in this video how you can um, play this game using the commands that you are practicing with your dog or puppy, and make it a fun game activity for your dog. So those are the 5 games that you can play with your dog indoors during social distancing. Invest 15 minutes, maximum half an hour for each game, and you'll see that your dog is going to be more relaxed, more stimulated throughout the day. You have 5 games that you can play throughout the next few weeks that you're home. You can play each game every other day or so. You don't have to play all 5 games on the same day. Just play one game each day, uh, every few days. Practice different games. Hopefully that answered your questions, and I had a great time talking to you today, and I enjoyed this conversation and answering your questions. Be safe, be positive, stay positive. Make sure that you're sharing love and affection with your dog at the right state of mind. If you feel that your dog is stressed and is anxious, it may be because you are feeling stressed and anxious. Pay attention to yourself, relax, enjoy, don't hoard, don't panic. It's not the end of the world. It's going to come and go. We'll all be good. We'll all be safe. We'll get it through this, and we'll make it. Be positive. Make it a positive situation. Enjoy your dog. Enjoy this time that you have with your dog, and have fun with them, and love one another. And I'll see you next week, same time, same place, same channel. Okay. And if you have any other questions, leave those questions in the comments area. And if this is your first time and you're watching this when it's not live and read on, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you will get notified as soon as I post my next video or if I go live. Have fun with your dogs. I'll see you next time.